For those of you located in the United States, Venmo will already be a household name, but for everyone else across the rest of the world, it'll be a lot less familiar. So where exactly is Venmo available? How is a payments app threatening to enter the English dictionary? And how did an idea that started out as a music website attract a user base of over 50 million people and come to handle $100 billion of payments on an annual basis? Here's how it happened. Let's start with Venmo's early days. The company's founders, Andrew Cortina and Ikram Magdon Ismail, met as roommates at the University of Pennsylvania. Their first serious idea came in 2009, when their help was enlisted by a friend who had just started their own yogurt store, Yogurino. The problem was that traditional point-of-sale software was cumbersome and unfriendly, and a major hassle for any non-computer literate shop owner. Using their IT experience, Andrew and Ikram produced a software that could transform any laptop into a digital cash register, with the simple addition of a $50 USB credit card swiper. Owing to some problems with distribution and the fact that it was actually for a friend's business and not their own, the pair chose not to pursue their project any further and instead focus on forming their own idea. After attending a jazz show, they thought it would be useful to instantly have the ability to purchase one of the songs they were listening to through their phone. Sure enough, despite living in different states, Andrew and Ikram would meet up at weekends to plan their MP3 download business that would operate via text message. But it was during one of his weekends visiting Andrew in New York that Ikram left his wallet at home, needing Andrew to cover his expenses for the few days. Their only solution was for Ikram to write out a check, a dated concept, and it was in that moment they realized their payment system need not only be used for purchasing music. When connecting with their friends on Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp was so seamless, they felt that same level of convenience should apply to payments too. While they both worked part-time jobs at different startups, they came up with an initial prototype where users could text a name and figure to a central phone number to make a transfer. The recipient would then receive a text stating the transfer that had taken place. The name of the service from the very outset was Venmo, which according to Andrew himself ticked a few boxes. It had meaning from the Latin word vendere to sell, and the mo from mobile. It was short and easy to spell, and the domain name Venmo.com was cheap to acquire. In 2010, both Andrew and Ikram quit their jobs, and Venmo managed to raise $1.2 million from VCs. They successfully launched their iPhone and Android apps later that year, abandoning the use of text messages. But they wanted to bring a social element to their service, to separate it from basic banking applications. They added the optional feature of sharing payments to a public newsfeed that could be seen by any of your friends who also had the app. The newsfeed entry would display who you paid and what for, but wouldn't disclose the amount transferred. Venmo was acquired by online payment platform Braintree in 2012 for $26 million, with Braintree then purchased by PayPal a year later for $800 million. So how has Venmo fared since the high-profile acquisition? To put it simply, Venmo has become a staple in the lives of tens of millions of Americans, especially millennials. It's most commonly used to help friends pay each other back for things like food and drink, or to split bigger payments for things like rent and utility bills. Transfers are accompanied by a small note and can also include emojis or even GIFs. Venmo has become so popular in American culture that it has followed in the footsteps of Google and almost entered English dictionaries in its own right. "Can you Venmo me?" and "I'll Venmo it to you" have become parts of everyday speech, and often the default method of paying friends back. The app syncs with Facebook, so you can see which of your friends also have Venmo, and can even find others based on proximity to you, so you can pay people back who are nearby that might not be on social media. So Venmo sounds amazing, but how does it actually make money if everything we've mentioned so far is available free of charge? For starters, online stores that offer payment via Venmo are charged a merchant's fee of 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction, which most websites are happy to cover given the extra custom that accepting Venmo payments can bring. Also, Venmo payments typically take a couple of working days to complete, which conveniently gives the sender a short period in which they can cancel their transfer. But in 2018, Venmo launched its instant transfer service, which could ensure the funds were in the recipient's bank account within 30 minutes. The charge for this service is 1% of the transfer amount, for a minimum of 25 cents to a maximum of $10, while the normal transfer service remains free. There is also a 3% fee charged if you'd like to pair your Venmo account with a credit card instead of a debit card. For all these positives, Venmo does have a few limitations. As you may be aware, Venmo is only accessible for both sending and receiving payments to individuals in the United States, which can be inconvenient for tourists or foreigners looking to do business with Americans. Also, since Venmo is only intended for personal use, there's a weekly spending cap of $4,999 for verified accounts, which is fine for small everyday purchases that you split with friends, but could be slightly limiting for payments like rent or when buying something more expensive like a car. Some of the much more serious concerns towards Venmo are surrounding privacy. A study that analysed over 200 million public transactions found that masses of information was made available about Venmo users, all because their settings hadn't been changed from the automatic ones. And so it may be better not to publicly share the payments you make and receive, sort of defeating the point of Venmo's entire social dimension. Although Venmo does carry bank-level encryption, as with all mobile payment services, they advise against storing large sums of money on your virtual account, and to avoid paying anyone that you don't know personally. Looking forward, Venmo is planning to support cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum very soon, and in an age where cash is becoming increasingly obsolete, the sky's the limit for Venmo's future. With over 10 million ratings in the App Store and an average of 4.9 stars, it remains to be seen whether rivals like Square and Zelle can keep up with Venmo's widespread popularity, and whether PayPal can replicate the success of their payment app abroad. And that's how it happened. Thanks for watching.